Well, hello and welcome everyone. Gotchaholic here, and today we're discussing Higurashi Go and Higurashi Sotsu. So, I've already done an analysis video on the original trailer for Higurashi Sotsu. However, I am fairly unhappy with the quality of that video. And not just how I put it together, but also a lot of my assumptions. So, personally, going over the extended trailer is a perfect opportunity. And if you're familiar with my channel, I've spent a lot of time talking about Arc 1 and Rena. So this analysis trailer, easy. One of my subscribers sent me a link to the video. I took all 25 scenes, broke them up into pictures. I know that's how many there are, I counted. And we are going to go over each main frame, one at a time, and I'm going to tell you what I think. Mainly, I'm just going to point out a bunch of details because I guess that's what I'm good at. Alright, so just to be clear, we are going hard on this trailer analysis. You with me? You ready? Alright, first picture. Look, it's a picture of Lam Delta when she went to school. Satoko. This is our Satoko. Well, they're clearly showing Satoko first because Satoko facilitates most of the events in the first arc. We know she's the one that afflicts Rena with the syndrome, and we even know this point in time. And just so you know, the entirety of the Sotsu trailer is actually in Arc 1. So, last thing, I'm not completely sold that our Satoko will be the one to transcend into Lam Delta, so to say. We'll get more into a lot of this later in the video, so continuing. Next picture! So, I'm not sure if this is Rena's house, but just based on how she's turning around and greeting someone, it seems like someone walked her home, or walked her to that building, and I'm just, off the top of my head, I'd guess Satoko or Mion. Maybe even Rika, but pretty much one of her friends that's not Keiichi. The main thing to take from this is that there's straight up scenes missing. This will become more prevalent and aggravating as the trailer goes on, but, you know, leave it up to Ryukishi to straight up hide scenes from us, man. How unexpected. Alright, continuing. The third main frame of this trailer is Mion Sonozaki. Now, as far as the frame goes, it looks like she's in Keiichi's room by the window. I could be wrong. And it seems like she's either having a heated conversation or she's remembering something fucked up, but I'm really not sure. For me, the most important thing about Mion in Arc 1, see, it's pretty easy to compare her to Rena, as far as being a supporting character that isn't representing the reader. And even if you don't fully understand the dynamic between, like, the syndrome and then Rena and Hanyu, rather Oyashiro-sama as Rena believes, ignoring this pre-established knowledge from the original Dina adaptation, it's still pretty obvious that Mion does not understand nearly as much as Rena does. Throughout most of Arc 1, for example, the scene when Keiichi first meets the photographer, he's with Rena and Mion. Keiichi explains how he thinks the photographer's up to something sinister, in his own words, and Mion straight laughs in his face over it. But the way Rena reacts, all ominous and worried, she definitely knows what's going on. She at least recognizes Tomitake. Just a quick example of how Rena is picking up on the story more than Mion. It's pretty apparent even without considering Rena's connection to Oyashiro and Hanyu. However, by the end of this arc, this seems to completely flip around, because Mion is the one that tells Keiichi that Rena didn't survive, that Rika and Satoko died. So somewhere along the lines, Mion just gets a fat exposition dump. She either talks to Oishi, she was involved somehow, or she had a massive flashback. I'm really not sure. Next picture! The fourth main frame is... Oh look, it's Birkenstill when she used to go to school. Oh wait. This is Rika. And she's at the school. Alright, come on, I went pretty hard on that last picture. Y'all should give me a break on one picture. It's just Rika at the school, okay? Maybe she pep talks Keiichi way more than we were first led to believe. I don't know. Next. The fifth main frame is... So, the fifth and sixth frames show Keiichi and Rena having a conversation in his room. We know this is his window, and we know this is the same scene because the lighting is the same and the wall is gray in the background. The first thing to take from this is that they're straight up missing scenes. But by now we already know that. And most of us were expecting this. And honestly, knowing that Satoko induced the syndrome in Rena, clearly Rena's gonna go after Keiichi. This just doesn't really warrant much explanation, that's just kind of what Rena does. Even a new viewer who's not really familiar with Rena and Keiichi's dynamic will later in Satoko Hen, when we get that montage of fragment worlds, we see Rena and Keiichi go at it a lot, and those familiar with the original Dina adaptation and the visual novel, Rena and Keiichi go at it a lot. That's just what Rena does. When she's normal, she just stands next to Keiichi all the time, is his friend, club activities, and then when she gets the syndrome, she's fucking trying to kill Keiichi. Or fucking up her school, something like that. So again, the fact that Rena is targeting Keiichi doesn't really warrant that much explanation for me. The real question is, why isn't Rena targeting Rika? And perhaps I'm wrong. Perhaps Rena's motives and why she's targeting Keiichi will play a factor later. I personally think Rena is a pseudo-looper and that she's going to play a major role in Sots. However, perhaps it's Keiichi that's grounding her. But again, I think a more important question is, why isn't Rena attacking Rika? Alright, we are continuing. So, the 7th, 8th, and 9th main frames of the Higurashi Sotsu trailer details grocery shopping, Rena buying tape, Rena buying rope. She is straight shopping for this. She is straight planning. Like, Rena seemed pretty crazy in her dialogue when she's talking to Keiichi, but if you've seen my previous video, Rena Rigu, the hidden hero of Higurashi, I actually explain all her dialogue away because it actually all ties to something. Whether it's the off-canon arc involving her father, or Rena connecting the syndrome to when she left the village, how she thought she was forgiven by Oyashiro-sama, and even referencing the nurse and photographer like she knows they didn't actually disappear on the night of the festival. Everything she says actually meant something, so she clearly tells Keiichi that he will die and she will disappear. Do you know after Tomotaki and Takano have already supposedly disappeared, which we even know they didn't, Rena knows they didn't, but she says she's going to kill him, and I feel like she's lying. There's no way Keiichi killed her with that clock. She was stabbing him in the stomach, and unless Satoko set a trap to save Keiichi's dumbass, I feel like Rena had an ulterior motive, though still clearly revolved around Keiichi. Honestly, guys, I'm not really sure what to make of it. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe her motives with Keiichi actually are really important, but I really feel like this is the subplot for the set arc. Meaning a lot of these motives aren't going to get carried into later arcs, because they don't really seem to matter too much later. Not till we get back to that cliffhanger. Alright, continuing. Now we have our 10th main frame of the Higurashi Sotsu trailer. We have Keiichi waking up, not having a good time. His memories are accumulating, he's remembering having murdered all his friends before, and Rena is scaring the fucking shit out of him. Basically, Keiichi's super happy fun times. Pretty much all I gotta say about that. So now, the next 4 main frames, 11 through 14, I'm going to present them to you guys a little differently, a little biasly. Now, these are 3 separate scenes, but in the Sotsu trailer, they're montaged together. And I think for a reason. So I will just keep them montaged together and explain to you why I think they're montaged together. Because I'm not gonna lie, this really fucks with me. And I kind of started talking about this earlier in the video, but for everything to come full circle, the 11th scene in the trailer is, it's fucking Hanyu! Leading into Rena grabbing the saw, leading into her just walking off in the night, and it concludes into fucking feathering. We go Hanyu, Rena, feathering. Now, those who have seen the Dean adaptation or have played the original BN, we know Rena can hear Oyashiro-sama's voice, and we know it's actually Hanyu. So, Ryukishi, tell me, is Rena able to hear Hanyu's voice still because she's still in the story, or is Rena fucking hearing feathering now? What the fuck, man? God, your stories are like bad relationships, I love it. I am about to rage over this topic, so maybe I'll make a separate video about this, but I don't know, I spent a lot of time dissecting Rena as a character already. Everyone knows I think she's a pseudo-looper. She has the knowledge to help Rika through her memories accumulating. She has the means to help Rika through her connection to Oyashiro being Hanyu. And she's pieced together the looping mechanics before, so we'll just have to wait and see where this goes. Alright, next picture! we have Satoko loading her gun, which I believe she's getting from Takano because it looks just like Takano's gun. Peeps finna get shot, brah. We'll come back to this on the last frame because I'm pretty sure I know what this gun is for. So for now, continuing. The 16th scene in the Sotsu trailer shows Rena in her little boxcar that's hidden in the junkyard. With how ambitious Go was trying to be, it makes sense that they didn't have a lot of time to show, a lot of the character quirks of our cast. Those who have played the VN or those who have seen the Dean adaptation are pretty familiar with this little boxcar. Now, as far as this applying to Go, it's really just continuing Rena's plot against Keiichi for whatever reason. Starting to think maybe she is paranoid that Keiichi is figuring out she killed Rina. And it's also possible that Satoko or Feathering are influencing Rena's decisions here. There's not really much more we can stretch from this, so continuing. Next scene pretty much just shows Keiichi walking by himself at night. This is either on the festival or perhaps it's a hidden scene. I'm going to safely assume that's all that is alluding to. So, next! The 18th scene is recapping the event where Satoko kills Rika, then herself, with the same knife that Rena used to try to kill Keiichi. This is pretty obviously how this arc plays out, so Ryukishi's thinking, yeah, it's pretty obvious, I might as well just show them. Yeah, thanks Ryukishi, thanks. We really appreciate it, man. Alright, next scene. We actually see Keiichi studying the pamphlet he finds in the junkyard. Looks like he straight camps out there with the flashlight or something, chilling in the junkyard. I don't think this is a hidden scene in Go. I think this is a flashback or a memory showcasing Rena's paranoia that Keiichi's figuring shit out. Potentially that she killed Rina, and potentially some of Rena's darkest secrets that she has left buried in Hinamizawa. This idea is actually supported in the next main frame. In the 20th picture, we see Rena straight up trippin', brah. Though she's not in the junkyard, we see trees in the background, so if this is a response to Keiichi reading the pamphlet, she's obviously thinking about it. It's not like she's actually standing behind Keiichi mad that he's reading it. And we do know that Rena caught him hiding that pamphlet from her. She brings it up to him when she confronts him after he talks to Oishi. Again, this is all just fleshing out the little details that were sprinkled about in Arc 1. And I'm not sure a lot of this is going to carry over into other arcs. So, continuing. So, the 21st and 22nd scenes in the Sotsu trailer are pretty much showing Rena in Keiichi's house and Rena outside of Keiichi's house. This is likely when Keiichi's father let her in, while Keiichi's on the phone with Oishi, and Rena goes into his room and overhears this conversation. Again, this is sparking her paranoia that Keiichi is figuring out her darkest secrets. Ultimately, the story is entertaining the idea that Rena hyper-focuses on Keiichi when she's under the syndrome. Though, as I've said before in this video, a lot of Rena's actions here don't actually warrant much explanation because we already know she's obsessed with Keiichi, which is probably why the story is showing so much of this. They can freely explain it because it doesn't matter, we already know, and they're just stalling us out. The story is keeping the real details to itself. Alright, continuing. So, just because we're at the end, I'm going to run the 23rd, 25th, and 26th frames together. It's ending on Satoko and Rika because they're the main characters of, the general theme of what Higurashi Go is setting up. This goes to how it's playing into Umineko, whether it's happening before or after. There's definitely connections with Lamb Delta to Satoko and Birkenstell to Rika, so it makes sense that the trailer ends on these two characters. Now, it's worth noting we see Rika super hopeful again. This is the first loop Satoko truly reset her into, so of course she's happy, of course she's optimistic, that's always been a part of her nature. It's not till the story keeps dragging on that she really starts getting depressed, as we see throughout the storyboard of Higurashi Go, ultimately. Rika eventually progresses into a much more depressed person, which, just one thing I gotta say real quick, when Rika's holding that shard, thinking about killing herself, man, in the 70 plus episodes I've watched of Higurashi, I have never seen Rika that depressed before, so it's actually really nice seeing her happy in the trailer. I'm really hoping for a good ending, but you never know, because Arc 1 does not end too good. Satoko is showcased in the second to last frame, frame 24, and she is looking down on someone, more like she's standing over someone, And you can't see in the picture I had, but she has Takano's gun, so I believe Satoko killed Rena at the end of this arc. It's super obvious that Keiichi did not kill Rena. I don't even think anyone thinks that. We all know that's not what actually happened. So I just think it makes the most sense that Satoko would eventually kill Rena at the end of this arc. And the main thing to take away from this, just in a general sense, in other words, what we can take from arc 1 into the rest of the story, Rena is literally the only culprit that Satoko gets a hold of that doesn't target Rika. Mion attempts to target Rika, although Rika's already dead at this point, during arc 2. And then of course Oishi is the first one to target and actually kill Rika in arc 3. And just so you know, I am working on analysis videos for arcs 2 and 3. And then we can look at the 4 consecutive culprits through Nekodamashi Hen, half of which specifically targeted Rika, while the other 2 culprits indirectly kill Rika as a part of a bigger event, which still Satoko facilitated. And then of course Satoko at the end of Nekodamashi. We obviously won't really count Satoko in this case, but what I'm saying is the constant variable is that all these culprits babble nonsense about Rika, target Rika, or address Rika one way or another. Except one. Fucking Rena! So, there you have it. I hope you all enjoyed your time in this video. I hope I gave you some lovely things to think about. And before we close out, I just want to address my channel real quick. I know a lot of people might just now be coming to my channel, and so you're kind of wondering, well, what's your channel about? It's obviously founded on Higurashi. Like, what's the deal? The idea is you can go to my channel and you'll see 3 different brackets, 3 different playlists, so to say. One is music-oriented, which I'll be doing AMVs. The second bracket is all about theory crafting. We'll pretty much entertain different theories. And then the last section is for my analysis videos. Unlike everything else on my channel, these videos are not standalone. They're not episodic. So the first video in the analysis section of my channel is Rene Ryugu, the Hidden Hero, and this is intended to be watched first in coordinates with the rest of the analysis videos. This is because we start in arc 1 clearly for the analysis video, and we theme this to Rena since that was her featured arc. Now when we go through arc 2, I'm just going to pin these onto the characters Mion and Shion. Likewise, when I go into arc 3, we'll focus on Keiichi and Satoko. And then I might even get into Nekodamashi, however, we'll be referencing Satoko Hen throughout all the previously aforementioned analysis bits, so that's ultimately the general idea. If you're interested, you want to check it out, subscribe. You might learn a lot of things you didn't know. You might remember things you forgot. You might piece things together that you never thought went together. Alright guys, well, that about wraps it up for today's video. Like I said, I hope y'all enjoyed your time here. I hope y'all have a lovely rest of your day. Like, comment, subscribe, but the most important thing is sharing. Share, share, share. This channel is in its growth phase. I want to branch out and be set with an audience so when Sotsu comes out, I'm not struggling to keep up with all them big wigs because come on, ain't nobody going as hard on this show as I am, man. Look me in the eyes and tell me, you gonna go harder than this, boy. Alright everyone, later. See you in my next video. See you in long time. Oh, you like what I got, yeah? Bye bye.